Welcome to this introduction. Learn how to breathe better and how to control our body and our muscles. Mat, an easy seat, or cross-legged, or you can sit on a chair, or maybe you can lay down if this cross-legged seat is uncomfortable. Other version that you can try as well is to sit with your legs slightly apart, have your knees together. Just find your comfortable seat, whichever is accessible for you today. And when you're ready, place your hands on your knees, palms facing down, and close your eyes for a moment. And connect your attention with your breath, with a very natural breath. And as a start, just notice how to breathe, how you breathe. Notice the quality of your breathing. Is it shallow or deep? Notice where you're taking the inhales, if it's coming through your nose or your mouth. And the same with the exhales. Notice if you're exhaling through your nose or through your mouth. Notice if there's any pause between the inhales, exhales. And just observe the breathing without changing it, but let it come naturally for a few more breaths. So today is a start. We're going to learn how to control our breath. So that can provide you a sense of calmness, and we sometimes you don't even realize, but breathing is having a real strong effect on a mental, emotional, and physical health and physical state of the body. Correct breathing, we can control quite a few things, and especially, for example, when you're stressing, just with the breathing, we can help to calm the nervous system and make the decisions better, stress management, and a lot of other things. So as a start, you might notice you inhale and where you exhale. Is it coming through the nose or if it's coming through the mouth? And as a start, I would like to invite you to try to breathe in and out through your nose. Usually the inhales are naturally coming through the nose, but the exhales, we're prone to exhale through the mouth, especially if we have a cold or flu or any blockage in the nose. But this time, as you inhale, try to take a deep breath through your nose. And as you exhale, try to expel the air through the nose as well. Just keep going like this for a few breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. This is called nasal breathing. It also has a lot of different benefits because there's a lot of tiny hairs inside the nose that can help to filter a lot of billions of tiny particles, toxins, and bacteria. Little nose hairs are there to help you get a much clearer oxygen, especially if you live in a big city where there's a lot of smoke. It's quite a big help to get a fresher and more filtered air into your lungs. And also there's another system in the nose which helps to warm the breath or cool the air that you get in. So especially like in cold days like nowadays we got. And if you breathe through your nose, by the time that the air arrives in your throat, it's getting much warmer, so you're less likely to get a cold just by the air, just by breathing in really cold air. And also because it has a longer way, it's usually we usually breathe much slower through the air. So just keep breathing in and out through your nostrils. And once it's kind of settled, we're going to try another thing, which is called abdominal breathing. As a start, put your one hand on the chest, just around uh, in between the collarbones, and another breath just below the ribs, the rib cage. Close your eyes, and again notice which part of the front of the body is raising and deflating when you inhale and you exhale. Just notice if it's your chest that moves when you breathe, or if it's the tummy that on the belly that moves when you inhale and exhale. Don't get scared if you breathing into your chest. A lot of people breathing to the chest. It's quite likely because of the hunching and the sitting, a lot of sitting that we're doing, because when we sit and hunching forward, we're constructing the diaphragm, so we can't really breathe deeper into, so all the breath is just stops in the chest. And after that, when you notice, if you're breathing in your belly already, that's very fantastic. But if it's coming to the chest, then you can start and try to actively moving the breath all the way down to the tummy. So keeping the hands in the chest unmoving, and trying to raise the tummy and then flatten when you exhale through the nose, as we did before. Then you inhale, try to make the tummy rise, and as you exhale, flatten it down. In this way, you control the diaphragm, so it's moving down and flattening when you inhale, making much more space for the lungs to expand. And as you exhale, it's pushing the air out, creating space and intention to the lungs to expel again after. Inhaling through the nose, expanding the tummy, keeping the chest restless and calm. And as you exhale through the nose, pushing the tummy in. And as you keep breathing, I'm just going to tell you all the benefits of this belly breathing. So that's a most efficient way to get the air all the way down in the bottom of the lungs. So the air is coming for the full part of the breath, for the full, oh, what's the word? No, it just went off. So it's getting all the way down to the lungs. It's giving it a more it's giving it more chances to get fresh air to the lungs, so there's not anything stuck in the bottom part, especially when you push the air out with the diaphragm. It's just coming out fully as well. Also, when you chest breathe, it can cause a thing called over breathing, which can trigger anxiety, and you can feel breathless or dizziness. You can have headaches. It might be the reason why you have all these feelings and issues. And simply just by pushing the air much lower, you're gonna have more oxygen in your lungs, and it also relaxes the I've got some notes here. It also relaxes the, no, I've got no notes about it. The vulvas, all the little air and little breathy Okay, toss hold up. It's gonna be cut. So relaxes the nervous system and the circulation and the blood vessels. That's it. So take another deep inhale. And as you exhale, flatten the eyes open. The next thing we're gonna do is to have a better posture. So as you inhale, try to lengthen the spine, try to grow long, and notice which part of your spine and which part of the head you moved. Probably as you try to lengthen yourself, you're going to raise the chin, but actually in this way, you're making yourself shorter because as you raise your chin, you are breaking the natural line of the spine. So to help correct this thing, with the exhale, tip your chin down to the chest. And then in the next inhale, push the back of the head back, keeping the chin down. You quite likely gonna have double chins just by doing that. And with the next inhale, relax it slightly. It's coming in a more natural way. And you can feel that the spine is expanding backwards. The other thing that you can imagine that you have a string in the top of the head, more likely in at the back top of the head, and that strings pull you up, keeping yourself nice and long. Let's take some more deep breaths here. Through the nose, all the way down to the belly. And then let's start to move a little bit. So if you were laying down, just turn to your side and slowly sit up. If you are seated, stretch yourself up, maybe moving it to the side, just to bring back some movement to the body. And then release the hands back to the knee. Relax the shoulders, opening them up. Again, grow tall and tip your chin a little bit in. And then try to pinch the ribs in as well. So more likely, let's just go this down. When you grow tall, it's likely that you have the rib cage expanding. Try to pinch it back, but staying tall. Then moving your head on the right hand side, getting closer to the shoulder blades, coming back to the center. As you exhale, move to the other side. Inhale back in center, and just moving your head around a few more times. Inhaling to center, exhaling, moving the ears closer to the shoulders. Inhale to center, exhale to bend the head. One more time. As you come back to center, next exhale, move it forward, move the head forward, the chin coming closer to the chest. Inhale to center, exhale to look up. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale to dip forward. Inhale to center. Exhale, looking up. One last time, inhale. Exhale, coming forward in the head. Inhale up. And exhale, look up to the ceiling. Inhale back to center. Come, raise your left hand, left arm, and then bend through the right hand side, keeping the chest open with the inhale, and maybe sink a bit deeper with the exhale. Then coming back to center, switching the arm. Exhale to bend to the left hand side. Inhale, opening the chest, and maybe coming a bit deeper with the exhale. Come back to center, raise both hands. Interlace the fingers, and if you can, move it aside and move it upward. Inhale, opening the chest, looking up, and as you exhale, fold forward, curving your spine backward. Inhale to lift the chest up, opening and looking up. Exhale, coming down. This is called cat and cow. So when you exhale and moving down, curving the spine, it's kind of the movement that an angry cat does. One more time, inhale, coming up, opening the chest. And as you exhale, moving down, curving the spine. Inhale, come back up, release the fingers, maybe shake your hands off. And then we're gonna move to a tabletop position on all four. As a start, try to position your knees under the hips, legs hip distance apart. Maybe you can see it from here, yeah. Fingers are spread widely, and the wrists are under the shoulders. One more important thing, you need to keep holding yourself from the core of the tummy and the chest. So even here, we're not sinking down and the shoulder blades are not flaring up, but to lift in the whole body upper, so the shoulder blades are flattening, and you can feel that you're holding here in the diaphragm. We're going to do another few now this way. So as you inhale, dropping the tummy down, lifting up the head, keeping the shoulders flat, the shoulder blades flat. As you exhale, moving the tummy up, moving the head down. Inhale to come up with the head, belly sinks down. Exhale, belly moves up, head comes down, making the angry cat movement. Inhale, opening the chest, opening the shoulders, sinking the belly down. And as you exhale, moving the dome, arching the spine up. And then coming back to center. After this, walk your hands forward. Coming closer to the floor. If you need and you have a block, you can put a block under the head so it supports you a little bit more. Or just sink down, resting your forehead on the mat, letting your shoulders open and relax. And coming up halfway slowly. And then release the elbows down to the floor and push your body forward, lifting up the chest, coming into the Sphinx position. Lifting the head slightly up so you're not crunching your neck. It's still the spine is still very long and relaxed. If you have any tension in your neck, your chin and nose is too high up. You just move it down a little bit. Still breathing deeply in and out through the nose. And with the next exhale, come down, release. Move your hands under the shoulders. And with the inhale, lift up the chest slightly into baby cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale, lifting up slightly. Exhale, coming down. Inhale to lift. Exhale, moving down. Inhale again, one more time. Exhale, moving down. And push yourself up to plank position. The full version is to have your knees up and you're making one big line with your body. If it's too hard, you can plant your knees down on the floor. The same applies here in this position as well. The shoulders are not sinking, your upper body is not sinking down. You're holding yourself up with your core muscles, with the tummy and the chest and the rib, the intercostal rib muscles. And just breathe in here for 1, 2, deep inhale. And next, as you exhale, lower yourself back down to the floor. Reaching forward with your hands this time. You need to move back a bit. Oops, not enough space. With the inhale, raising up one hand. Exhale to release. Inhale, raising up the other hand, moving the chest up slightly with it. Exhale to release. Inhale, moving up the right hand with the chest. Exhale to release. Maybe the movement just a few inches, a few centimeters. Maybe it's higher. You can help a little bit with your hand. Exhale to release. And as you have both sides the same amount, you can try to release both hands, lifting up both hands. Exhale to release. Then moving a little bit up. We're going to do the same with the legs. So resting your forehead on the ground, resting the arms on the upper part. Lifting up one leg. Exhale to release. Inhale, lifting up the other leg. Exhale to release. 2 more rounds with both legs. Exhale to release. Inhale the leg up. Exhale coming down. Inhale up. Exhale release. Exhale to release. And if you have free full round, next inhale you can try to move both legs up. Exhale release. One more time. Inhale both legs up. And as you exhale release. Move your hands under your shoulders, pushing yourself up and then back, your hips back on the heels, coming into the child's pose. So child's pose variation, you can have both legs closed, resting your chest on your thighs, or you can have a wide child where you have your knees mat distance apart and you're sinking down between the legs. Coming back to your breath, maybe closing the eyes, inhaling through the nose and pushing the air out through the nose as you exhale. You slowly walk the hands back, sitting up. If you are in wide child pose, close the legs. Sit up back on your heel, moving the hands behind you, clasping your fingers. Inhale, open the chest. Maybe have a block in front. You might need it. And as you exhale, holding down, resting your head on the block or on the floor, on the mat. Keeping the shoulders open and the hands up. If it's too much on the shoulder, you can have a strap or a bathrobe or a scarf. I'm using I'm clasping on that one. Next, with the next inhale, moving back up to hero pose, sitting up tall. I'm checking what else we've got here. Then coming back to your tabletop position. So knees under the hips, legs hip distance apart, fingers spread, hands under the shoulders, lifting up through your chest and core and tummy muscles. Then bring your toes inside, tucking them in. You're going to do another cat and claw, but this time, every time when you go to cat, so you arching the spine up, we're going to lift up the knees slightly. Inhale, releasing the knees, opening the chest, tipping the tummy down. Exhale, moving up, lifting up a little bit the knees. Inhale, pulling them down, looking up, releasing the tummy. Exhale, moving the tummy up and lifting up the knee, maybe slightly more. Inhale, come into cow, looking up. Exhale, look down, move the tummy in and the knees up. And at one point, eventually, you're going to arrive to your first downward facing dog. Here, you can push through your fingers, keeping the fingers spread really widely. And you can pedal the feet. You can have your knees bended, especially if you have tight hamstring. It might be a bit tricky to stay here, especially with straight legs. Then slowly start to move forward with your legs, little steps forward until you reach your hand, bending the knee, releasing the head, releasing the shoulders, holding forward here. Then you can walk your hands to one side, giving your side a stretch, walking back the hands, moving to the other side, coming back to the middle. Let your hands be heavy. If you feel that your neck, if you're looking up, is definitely not what we need. If you feel that there's tension in the back of the neck, maybe just shake your head a little bit, releasing the muscles there. And then bend your knees a little bit more and slowly starting from the bottom of the spine, coming up to standing, moving the palms forward. Maybe close your eyes for a second here and just take some deep breaths in. Then with the next inhale, moving the hands up, the arms coming up. Exhale, releasing the hands in front of the chest into prayer position. So coming up again, opening the chest, opening the shoulders. Exhale, moving the hands forward into prayer position. Inhale one last time, opening the shoulders, opening the chest, filling the lungs with air. Exhale to release, coming all the way down with the hands, and bending your knees, sitting slightly back, and then lifting the hands up into chair pose. Here you can play a little bit with your weight. Also, you can look down, and if you can see your toes, you are in the correct position. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, moving down again. Playing around here. Maybe you can try to lift your toes. and your heels, moving the weight from forward to backward. Exhale to release. One more time, sitting back up on your imaginary chair. This time, you can move your weight to the left side, sliding the leg back or lifting up the right leg if you can, and stepping backward. Gonna remove socks. Stepping backwards, the back toes, the right toes are pointing to diagonally outside of the mat. The front toes, the left ones, are facing forward. And then your hip bone and your shoulder is facing to the shoulder edge of the mat forward as well. Then inhale, moving up the head, the arms, moving up the body. Still keeping the bend in the front knee. We arrive in the first warrior one position. Then you can lift up your back heel, slowly moving up, forward again, stepping back on your chair. And as you exhale, release. Inhale, sitting back on the chair again, moving the weight, this time to the right hand side, sliding or lifting up the left, and stepping back. Inhale, lifting up the chest, and maybe sink a little bit deeper with the exhale, bending the front knee a little bit more. Into your warrior one. And bring your weight back, lifting up the back heel, and slide your back leg back to the forward or step forward. And as you exhale, release the pose. Coming back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Breathing here. Then step back with your right leg. Come into the long edge of the mat. Feet and toes are facing forward, facing to the long edge of the mat. Have your hips and your shoulders facing forward as well. Lifting up the hands, then very easily move the right feet forward, looking to the short edge of the mat, so looking to the side. And try to keep this hip, this and the shoulders still facing the long edge. And if you right here, inhale, lifting up, opening the chest, and me, the one that's facing forward, the short edge, to arrive into warrior two position, looking over your right hand. Inhale, lifting up the arm, checking on your shoulder and hips. Maybe they need a little bit adjustment to be back facing forward, and then release the hands back down to the side, looking over your right hand. Inhale, straighten the legs, moving the toes back to the long edge, and then moving your left toes outward, facing the short edge, bringing your hips and shoulders back to the side. Inhale, opening the chest, lifting up, growing taller. Exhale, bending the left knee this time, looking over your left hand. Then as you inhale, you can raise your arms, checking on your shoulders and hips. And as you exhale, moving them back on the side, looking over the right hand, keeping the shoulders and the chest open, and the arms are actively pushing out to the side, like two people standing here, pushing your hands to both sides. Inhale, coming up, moving the toes back. Release the hands, maybe a little bit shake it off if they're shaking already. There was quite a few holding. Then moving the toes slightly inward, so they're not facing totally forward, but a little bit inside. Inhale, lifting up the chest, lifting up the arms halfway to the side. And as you exhale, move forward from the hips. Option one is to stay halfway up, putting your hands on the thighs, keeping yourself up here. Option two, if you have some blocks in hand, you can have your hand in the block. Or if your body lets you move down, you can place your hands on the floor as well. Breathe in here. Be careful not to crunch your neck. You don't have to look up. You can check on your toe, on your nails, on the mat. And feel that nice stretch in the back of the thighs, back of the leg. Then next, inhale, moving into your fingertips if you're down on the floor, or just looking up if your hands are on the thighs. Exhale, hands to the hips. And with the next inhale, come up, pivoting the feet inside, coming back to your mountain pose Tadasana. We have a fly here. Next inhale, try to feel through your legs, feel the connection with the earth. Maybe moving from side to side or forward and backward, feeling all corners of the feet. And then try to find a position where you can feel all the four corners, so you can feel the front, inside, outside of your feet and the heels pushing evenly through the ground. And then move your weight, left foot, lifting up the right leg, maybe just slightly, maybe close it to the chest. And then moving the knees outside, you come into a tree pose. You can rest your feet just around the ankle or above or below the knee, maybe all the way up in the inner thigh. And then move your hands into a full. If you are very unstable, you can grab on a furniture. Also, an unmoving, stable spot in front of you and keeping your gaze there, anchoring you, grounding you, giving more stability for yourself. The leg, maybe shake off, then come back to your mountain pose, hip distance apart, toes facing forward, palms of the hands facing forward as well. Let's play around another round, moving the weight from side to side or forward and backward, trying to feel the corners of the feet, and then try to find that spot where you can feel the front to outside and inside and the heel evenly pressing on the ground. Then moving weight this time to the right foot, lifting up the left leg a little bit or a little bit more, and then moving it outside, letting your sole of your foot or in the inner knees or just around the ankles. Moving the hands to prayer, or you can hold this. Coming into tree pose, and then find that unmoving resting spot again that you can keep. That can help you to stabilize your body and focus your mind. Release the legs after, shake it off. And then come to a nice seated on your mat. If you have a block or a book, prop it off your hip. Keeping yourself on the side. I'm not sure how much is visible on the side of the block, so you can have your pelvis tilt a little bit. If you don't really know how to do this pelvis tilt, you can bend your legs to start and move your chest forward, resting on your legs on the thighs. And this is the pelvis tilt feeling that we should feel when you're sitting. So after, you can come back, lengthen the spine, keep that pelvis tilt feeling, and then slowly straighten the legs, pushing your toes upward, and try to keep that tilt. Also, you can put your hands down or maybe on your fist, whichever. It depends on how long is your arm. And with the help of the arm, you can keep yourself taller, longer. Breathing in here. And then again, check on your chin, check on your neck. Notice if you have your nose and chin up. If you have them up, just move them down slightly closer to the chest, and then pushing the head back. So you have a nice line of vertebrae, not breaking the line here in the neck, not keeping it very long. Maybe having a double chin. That's fine, no one can see it now. Next, inhale, moving up the hands, bending your legs a little bit, the knees a little bit, keeping the toes up. And as you exhale, come forward, maybe resting your head on the knees, or resting your face around the knees. You can hold on your feet, around your feet if you can, or resting your head anywhere on the legs, whatever is. Maybe you're just right here. Maybe you can bend all the way down. They're all fine. Keeping the breath, inhaling long and deep, exhaling through the nose. Then inhale, come back up, releasing the hand, releasing the leg, the block from under you. And then we're going to actually move the back up closer to the chest, bending the knees. Plant your hands behind you, and then come on your tippy toes, and then maybe lifting the legs, maybe just staying here, or if you can, lifting the lower leg up, keeping yourself upright, so your back of the spine, the lower back is not sinking. It feels like you have a wall behind you, a brick wall behind you in the lower back. And just moving the lower leg higher up from time to time. Then release, straighten the leg, maybe shake off a little bit, and move your legs from side to side. If you have a lot of tension in the hip flexor muscles after. Then come back to the seat. Toes are pointing up. Inhale, moving the right knee close to the chest, and as you exhale, drop on the side. If you have a block around or a two-cover box, you can prop up your knees so your hips are not screaming in pain. Exhale the arms up, and as you inhale, and as you exhale, moving forward, keeping the spine long and straight, resting your hand on the legs, or maybe grabbing your foot, and look towards your foot, so you're not towards your toes, so you're not straining your neck. Again, so keeping it a long line. Don't forget to breathe. Then inhale, come up, switching side. Oh, that was a nice crack. This time, move your block. The left leg is coming to the side. Toes are pointing up. They're pointing up. Leg is active. Inhale, arms up, lengthening as you exhale, coming forward and down. Resting your hands on the shin, or maybe on the thighs, or maybe if you can reach that far, grab your foot, looking towards your toes, keeping the spine long and nice, even at the neck part, the cervical part of the spine. Breathing deeply. And coming back up, moving both knees closer to the chest. And we're going to do another boat pose variation. Coming back, resting your hands behind you. Coming on your tiptoe, moving the weight a little bit in the back. And this time you can, if you can keep your lower legs lifted, or if it's too much, you can just keep moving them all together. I'll keep it here for a few breaths. Try to keep your shoulders open and try to not sink down in your lower back. You have this brick wall behind you, keeping you up. Then release. Moving your knees even closer to the chest, and then open both knees. You can again put blocks on both sides of the knees to help your, I'm going to move so you can see, to help relax your hips. And then with your hands, open up the sole of the feet like you're opening a book. So you can see all the little bring the lines up your feet. Keep your hands or in the foot, or maybe just around the ankle, whichever is accessible. Inhale, lifting the chest up, opening the chest and the shoulder. And as you exhale, keeping the spine long, moving forward slightly. Maybe the movement is just a few inches down. Maybe you're coming closer to the leg. And you can rest your elbows in the inner thighs, pushing the legs a bit down. But remember, do it only as much as it's not painful. Pain is not something we seek while we're practicing yoga. Inhale, come up, moving your feet slightly forward so you have a bigger diamond shape. This time as you inhale, opening the chest. As you exhale, starting with the head, moving the spine, letting the spine curving forward. Moving the crown of the head closer and closer to the feet. Letting the tension go from the spine and letting gravity moving you closer to the legs, the feet. Maybe you can close the eyes. Focus on the breath. And on the nice stretch of the spine. And inhale, slowly come up. Head is the last thing that comes up. And moving your legs with your hands. And then come into your back. Giving your body, when you're right, a nice long stretch. I don't know if I have enough space. A nice long stretch. Oh, maybe a good yawn. And then moving your knees to the chest. Moving the legs from side to side, massaging the back a little bit. Checking on my nose. Then putting your feet down close to your hips. Feet are hip distance apart. If you have a block, you can prop the block between your knees in any way, or in this way, or in a flattened way. It depends on how wide is your hip. Keeping the hands flat on the floor. With the next inhale, we're gonna lift up the tailbone off the floor slightly. I'm gonna move my hands so you can see. And then as you exhale, moving the tailbone down back again. Inhale, moving the tailbone up, curving the spine up, and maybe move a little bit more the lower back up. And then as you exhale, moving it down. So with all the inhales, starting with the tailbone, moving the vertebrae up off the floor, and as you exhale, resting them slowly back down to the ground. Next, inhale, starting with the tailbone, moving up. Maybe even your middle back is coming off the floor, and as you exhale, releasing it so slowly as you lift it up. Inhale, lifting the tailbone, the lower back, the middle back, and maybe reaching almost until the shoulder blades. Exhale to release, moving it back to the floor. Inhale, coming back again. It's are moving off a little bit as well. Exhale to move down slowly. Inhale, coming up again, reaching to the top, and then pause here for a bit. You can move hands under the sacrum, under the hips and bums, keeping yourself up a little bit here, supported. Keep squeezing the block with your legs. If you have a block between the legs, don't let the block drop. And then release the hands, and slowly with the exhale, vertebra by vertebra, moving down against the block. And give yourself a few breaths here. Tension from the spine. Breathing through the nose and out through the nose. Then bring your knees close to the chest. Moving from front to back. Maybe rocking back and forth a little bit. Then making the move slower and slower, smaller and smaller, until you're back in your back. Putting down both legs. Still bended. And lifting up your right knee close to the chest. Maybe stay in here if it's already a nice stretch. Or if you can bring your ankle over the left knee and opening up the knee into this figure four position and keeping it here for a few breaths. Or if this is easy enough, bring your left knee closer to the chest, grabbing your left knee with both hands and bringing your legs closer to the chest, giving your glutes a nice stretch. Then release the leg if you have them up, moving it down, switching sides. The option one is to keep your left knee closer to the chest, breathing here. Option two, to move the ankle over the right knee, opening the left knee, coming into figure four. Option three is to bring the right knee closer to the chest so you can grab the knee with the hands and gently pulling it towards your chest, releasing the muscles in the glutes. Breathing deeply in, long exhales through the nose. Then move your feet back to the ground, moving the legs down. Then moving your knees from side to side, releasing them in the hip. Then come back to the middle. Knees lifted. Move your hands to the side. If you can have your hands straight to the side. If you don't have enough space, you can bend at the elbow, bringing your hands into this arm shape. Then move your knees close to the chest and then slowly drop both knees to the right hand side, twisting your spine. And if they are down on the floor, maybe you can turn your head to the left hand side, looking over your left hand, twisting your upper spine as well, the vertebrae of the neck. Maybe closing the eyes here. Inhale, coming back to center, moving the knees up close to the chest. Next, inhale. And as you exhale, move your knees to the left hand side this time. If you can, bring your head looking over your right hand side, twisting through the whole of the spine. And coming back to the middle, rest here for a second. And then release the legs, straightening them up. We're coming to a final pose into relaxation, Shavasana. If you need any extra layers, you can put them on. Also, versions for Shavasana. This is a relaxation position. We're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Option is to lay down, open the legs as wide as the mat, bringing the palms up so the head of the hand is touching the ground. If you have any tension in the lower back, for example, my lower back is always up, you can bend the knees, tipping the knees together so you can relax the lower spine. Or you can have blocks on your height. Try to see which one relaxes your spine more, which ones relaxes, especially the lower back a bit more. And once you're settled, close your eyes. Release the breath. So your breath comes naturally without controlling it, without any breath attention. And start to scan through your body to see how the body feels. From the bottom all the way to the top. And if there's any thoughts emerging, just observe it and then let it go. Bringing your focus back to your breath. I'm going to leave you here for a few minutes in silence to relax before bringing ourselves back. Slowly starting to deepen your breath, bringing the air back into all the way down to the belly, letting the inhale expand your belly and then flatten it with the exhale. And trigger your fingers and toes, bringing movement back to the body. Maybe moving the hands and feet after. Then stretching through the whole body, reaching up and high. And then once the stretch is done, curve into a little ball, bringing the knees close to the chest. And then move to your preferred side, resting there for a moment. And push yourself up to the cross-legged seat again, bringing your hands to the chest between collarbones and the other hands at the tummy. And again, we're gonna practice this deep belly breath for a few minutes. Inhaling through the nose, bringing the belly out, expanding it. Exhaling through the nose, letting the belly flatten. Try to keep the chest unmoving. So only the belly rises and falls with the inhales and the exhales. Giving the lungs the opportunity to fully expand and then to empty out all the air. One last time. Bring the air all the way down to the belly and then emptying it out fully. Then come back to your natural breath, bringing the hands in front of your chest. And remember, every time when you feel stressed, when you feel anxious, you can start to practice this deep belly breath through and breathing through the nose, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Also, you can practice this breathing a few times a day if you have time, if you have energy to do it. And then you can quickly experience the benefits of nostril breathing and deep belly breathing as well. And then bow your head down, thanking your body, keeping up with this work. Namaste.